Hello?
Hi.
Mama.
Hey, Daddy.
Mom. Okay. Never mind.
You live in an
Ready.
island. You live in an island in the Indian Ocean. Wait,
Come on, buddy.
what is this? Where is this? Who's Camila? What's his name?
Hey, Sophie and Christian.
Well, why did you put that Camila?
Yes, if you want to mute yourself, we'll go up there. Exactly.
What do you want the name to be? I don't know. What? Maybe. 99. Moises. Moises M. You keep saying Moises. Yeah.
Hi, Shama.
It was even saying Moises. Wait. Hello, Gavin.
So they got their after hours.
I want to make something.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's everybody doing? Oh, here comes Alden.
Good.
I'm gonna mute myself.
What about this weather? Is this insane or what?
Yeah. I don't get it.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep an eye on the waiting room just to make sure we don't miss anybody that wants to join in. And oh, I see behind me I've left the door open to the bathroom. Gross.
Yeah.
But did anybody practice making their own bead bars already? I know I just gave that to you yesterday, so you might not have had enough time. Ooh, I see a bunch of people did. Does anybody care to show me what they did with their bead bars? Let's start with Miles. Miles, show me what you did. Colored the bead stair, good. Okay, and you're making bead bars on that 100 square paper, good. Excellent. Have you tried to do any addition with them yet? Or subtraction
No.
or multiplication? Okay.
I haven't. I couldn't figure out what these were for.
Oh, okay. So did you watch the video that where I
No,
showed
not
you what to
yet.
do? Ah,
Not
okay. So that might be something fun to play with later. Okay, great. But you've started off with printing out those bead bars. Excellent. Henry, would you like to show us what you've been doing? I'm looking at, let me change my view here. Henry, say something so you show up in my speaker view.
I colored in the beads.
Ah, okay. So you're starting to color them in. Those are some sevens. I see you've chosen gray for your sevens. Excellent. Hi, Amelia.
Hi.
Was there anything else, Henry, you wanted to show us? Okay, you're starting off with sevens. I like that plan. Okay. Who else would like to show me some of their work? Kay is showing off already. Kaya, can you talk a little bit about what you've done there? You've got some number lines, it looks like. You just picked some equations and went for it, huh? Great. I'm happy to see you practicing those number lines. And how about Eleanor?
I'm coloring in my bead bars right now.
You're coloring them in. Yeah, you guys just got this stuff yesterday, so I wasn't expecting much more. So you guys have already gotten started, and I'm excited to see that. That is great. Well, it's not ideal. We would rather, of course, that you were able to be here with your hands on the bead bars. But what do you think about this as a substitute while you're at home? Is it working? You think it's going to work out? You like it? Okay. Gavin, what did you want to say about your practice so far?
I have all my bead bars done in color.
Wow.
My top pin actually cut wrong.
Yeah.
Now I just have white pen.
That's okay. That's perfectly fine. And what I think you'll find here, let me mute everyone. What I think you will find, what I found as I started to color mine in, was that I learned a little bit about addition as I was coloring, because, and I don't have them with me, but when you take that, Gavin, if you could hold it up, that square that you have, the square of 10 by 10, I noticed, for example, that as I started to color my beads of 3, that it very conveniently left me with some 7s, right? So if I could use that square of 10, I could start matching up my, ooh, let's use this square to make bars of 3 and bars of 7. Because what's 3 plus 7? Yeah, that makes 10. So how else could we break up our squares of 10? Does anybody else have a good idea of how a square of 10 could be broken up? Eleanor, what do you think?
4 plus 6.
4s and 6s, yeah, because 4 plus 6 makes 10. What else could we do with a square of 10? Henry?
5.
Ah, yeah, we could make a whole lot of 5s, you bet. We could make 5s, and then we could make 5s, yeah. Anything else? Any other combos, Danny?
8s and 2s.
8s and 2s would work, yep. So let's see, we did 7s and 3s, 4s and 6s, 5s and 5s, of course, 8s and 2s. Are there any more? Krish?
9 and 1.
Yeah, we can make 9s and 1s out of our 10 squares. Yeah. Did we get them all? I think we got them all. Yeah. So right there, you saw probably a way to practice some addition with those 10s, those 100, what did I call that? 100 square dot paper. And actually what we just talked about is a great way to practice, because that's basically preparing you for a lesson that you're not going to have until probably 4th grade, where we talk about transformation of a square. Okay. So I'm excited to see some number line practice. If you guys, I think all of you were there the day we did the number lines. But if you missed that lesson, it's available for you on the Google Classroom. You can just go watch the lesson. Same with Miles with the addition. Oh, did we lose Miles? I don't see him anymore. The same with the addition facts with the bead bars. If you didn't get that lesson yet, you can go ahead and watch that video. But I have some other things I want to try to show you, and I don't know if you can see. I got a new toy. It doesn't look like much, but does anybody know what this is? It's a drawing pad. So if you have a brother or sister in Upper L, they've already had some lessons probably with Miss Circe and her drawing pad, but I finally got mine. It took a little longer for mine to come in. And I'm not going to do anything too exciting with it because I still have to learn how to use it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen so that you can see. Now I have to figure out how to, okay. There we go. Sorry. I'm trying to learn a lot of new tech here. There we go. Okay. So can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
Do you see the
Yes.
numbers 6 and 9?
Mhm.
Excellent. Okay. Because I cannot see you. That is one thing I'm not able to do right now is find my Zoom meeting again. So,
Yeah.
but you can see me and you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Okay. And at the top there, it says making groups. So this is another way to practice addition facts. And it's thinking about taking any number. I've chosen, let's focus on my number 6 here. We're going to take any number and we're going to just make some pictures of that number. I've just chosen circles here, but these could be anything. You could make 6 fish. You could make 6 pizzas or 6 cupcakes, 6 shells or 6 snowmen, I guess, if we're taking inspiration from what's happening out our windows. Just make any kind of drawing of 6 things. And then we're going to do an exercise a little bit like what we just did when we thought about our bars of 10 and how to break them up. Now we're thinking about this group of 6. And I hopefully have unmuted everybody. Let me actually check that real quick. Oh, let's get Miles back in.
Henry and Gabe are muted.
Okay, I'm trying to unmute everyone. You're able to unmute yourself though. And then let me go back to my exercise. And
Miss Fortune,
yes,
I got knocked out.
I'm sorry, Miles, but I'm glad you're back now. So what we're looking at here, Miles, is a group that I've made over here of 6s. Can you see that?
Yes.
I made 6 circles, okay? And I'm trying to think about a way to make groups from my 6 circles. What is one way that I could make a group here? What if I drew a circle around 2 of these 6 circles? That is not my best circle. Let me try again. I'm just learning how to use this.
There's an eraser.
There we go. Let me try again to draw a circle. I practiced last night. There we go. Okay. So I've made a circle around 2 of them, which means I have a group of 2 here, and I have a group over here of 4. So the equation I would want to write here would look like this. 2 plus 4. That's one way to make 6, right? Okay, what's another way I could make 6?
Oh.
Just call it out, because I can't see you.
3.
3 plus 3.
3 and 3.
3.
Okay, so I'm going to circle 3. And 3. If there are any parents watching, I feel like Kermit the Frog when he would go zzz. Okay, so thank you for the laugh, whoever that was. 3 plus 3 would be my equation there.
5 plus 1.
1 plus 5.
Oh, thank
1
you.
plus
Ooh,
5.
I like
1
that
plus 5.
some of you are saying 1 plus 5 and others are saying 5 plus 1. Does
4
it
plus
make
2.
any difference?
No.
Right, it does not, because of that commutative property that we have in addition.
4
It
plus
does not
2.
matter which one comes first. So just for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and circle my 1, and then I'm going to make a group of 5. So this time I chose to go with 1 plus 5, but could I have just as easily done 5 plus 1?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And when you are practicing this, you might decide to make more groups of 6 so that you can also do 4 plus 2 and 5 plus 1. You're welcome to do that. That's absolutely not wrong. But it's also not necessary, because 1 plus 5 is going to be the same as 5 plus 1, because we know we have that commutative property. I'm going to write that up. Let me attempt to write that up here. Is it working? Can you see that?
What?
I'm learning to use my thing here.
Commutative
Hurrah.
property.
There. Not my best handwriting, but I'm still learning. Okay. So that's called the commutative property. We've probably talked about that. Okay, let me come back. And now let's do 9. Who can tell me? Look at my 9 rhombuses here. Who can tell me one way to make 9?
4 plus 5. 9 plus 0. 9 plus 0.
Oh, I hadn't even
4 plus
thought about
5.
doing 9 plus 0. That's a great idea. Okay, so you guys can start thinking about what you're going to make your groups out of.
Okay, if it's 12, you can put it down.
9
Okay.
plus 0.
8 plus 1.
I will totally do 9 plus 0.
Yeah.
8 plus 1.
9 plus 0.
Nobody, this is one where she's asking people
That means I'm going
say
to.
when they
I'm going to say like this.
okay?
8 plus 1.
So it's going to be a little bit.
2.
Okay, so I'm hearing 8 plus 1.
5
I'm
plus
sorry.
4.
4 plus 5.
5 plus 4.
If you have paper and pencil and want to start trying these on your own, you can. And then I heard
1 plus 8.
we've got 8 plus 1, which is the same as 1 plus 8. What's another one?
5 plus 4.
We've got 4 plus 5, which is the
6
same as
plus
5 plus
3. 6
Aha.
plus 3.
There we go.
5 plus, oh, you're lying in the
7 plus 2.
7 plus 2. 7 plus 2. 7 plus 2.
7 plus 2. And again, you can totally make a bunch more groups of 9 so that you can do 5 plus 4 and 0 plus 9 and 1 plus 8 and 3 plus 6 and 2 plus 7. Those are all correct to do. So this is just a different way to practice. You get the idea. So now I'm curious to know how I get to the next page. There it is. No, that's not it. Sorry, guys.
Before, Mama. I want it how it was before.
Okay, so now we're going to move on and we're going to talk real quickly about fact families. Okay, so when we're talking about fact families, we're talking about a relationship between addition and subtraction. So I'm going to switch to red here to write an addition equation. And I'm going to choose 4 plus 8, which equals anybody? 4 plus 8?
12.
12. Thank you. And we know from the commutative property that we can also say 8 plus 4 equals 12. So now I'm going to switch to my green for subtraction. And I'm going to try to think about a subtraction fact that's kind of like a cousin to our addition fact here. If I start with 12 and I take away 4, what will I get?
8.
I will get 8. Isn't that interesting? What if I start with 12 and take away 8?
4.
Aha. So are you seeing a relationship between these addition facts and these subtraction facts?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is an excellent way to practice, especially if your addition facts are starting to feel easy to you. Then the next step in the challenge would be to start to identify the relationship between your addition facts and your subtraction facts. So that is another great way to practice with your addition facts. Okay, then we're going to talk about the parts of an equation. I'm going to switch back to my red here. I like to use different colors when we're doing math to highlight different things. So I hope you guys have your colored pencils and your crayons and markers and whatnot to do this with. So by the way, practicing those fact families is preparing you for algebra, believe it or not. It's preparing you to be thinking in the way that you have to think to do some algebra work later on. That relationship between addition and subtraction gets to be pretty important. And it also prepares you to be thinking about that with multiplication and division, which we'll probably talk about before too long. Knowing the parts of an equation is another really important thing to be thinking about when we're doing addition. So I'm going to start with, actually, I'm going to go to my black pen. And I'm going to start with the equation, very simple equation, 4 plus 3. Go ahead, tell me what 4 plus 3 is.
7.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Red. Does anyone out there know the name of the parts of an addition equation?
I think the answer is probably some.
Addition.
Addend. Oh, that's a little too far over. Hold on. Oh, is it going to move it all in separate parts? That's not fun. Hold on a second here, guys.
Yes. Okay.
There we go. Okay, so the 4 is an addend, and the 3 is another addend. They're both addends. So in an addition equation, we have 2 addends. And does anyone know what we call the answer in addition? I feel like someone is saying sum. I can't tell if their microphone is blocked, but yes, it is the sum. So this is a good chart for you to make. And it might even encourage some research into what are the parts of a subtraction equation called? What are the parts of a multiplication equation called? This could be a really cool chart to make. What are the parts of a division equation called? Knowing the parts of an equation and the names for them is just as important as, think of it as kind of the grammar boxes, knowing the parts of speech like noun and adjective and verb. Knowing the parts of the addition equation or any equation is preparing you for understanding how to work with numbers later on when you're doing things like algebra. So this would be a great starting point for a really cool chart. Okay. Don't worry about taking notes. I'm recording this, so I'll be able to share it with you.
Hold on.
Okay, now we're going to talk about how many ways to make a number. So let's start with 10. This is just another way of showing that same thing we've been doing with our groups. 5 plus 5, someone said. Okay. Let's do this, make this colorful.
6 plus 4.
9 plus 1.
6 plus 4.
I hear 6 plus 4. Whoops.
9
I was
plus
trying to
1.
make that purple, but that didn't work out.
Do the rainbow.
Yes,
9
I
plus
will.
1.
I'll get there. What's another way to make 10?
9 plus 1.
8 plus 2.
8 plus 2.
7 plus 3. 7 plus 3.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I got on the board.
Any others?
6 plus 4. 10 plus 0.
0.
There we go.
5 plus 5.
Okay, so you're going to keep thinking. You can, again, If you want to go ahead and add 3 plus 7, 1 plus 9, 2 plus 8, go for it. Fill it up. Make it really colorful. The other thing you can do, guys, don't forget, we like to decorate. So with your colored pencils, you can really get into the decoration of these. Okay? Let's go over to 12. How many ways are there to make 12?
6 plus 6. 10 plus 2. 7.
12 plus 7 plus 4. 7 plus 4. 6 plus 6. 12 plus 0. 12 plus 0. 6 plus 6. 12 plus 0. 12 plus 0. 7 plus 5.
I love that you guys were thinking about zeros today. I hadn't even really thought about the zeros. I'm having trouble hearing somebody out there. I hear them calling to me.
7 plus
Oh.
5.
Is it that one maybe that you're telling me?
9 plus 4.
Did anybody else catch that mistake?
Yes,
I did.
I saw it.
Yeah. What do I say about mistakes, guys?
You can learn from them.
That's right. Mistakes are how we learn. Okay.
I
I didn't hear this one,
9
but
plus 3
there we go.
plus 3.
Okay.
3 plus 9.
How about
Made a little loud.
this one? So you get the idea. Okay. Moving on. The last thing I want to talk about are some ideas. This is a good one for moms and dads to look at with you. Okay. With your addition facts, and here, why don't I? Oh, Kay and Krish got kicked out somehow. Okay. So you will want to, if you're having any trouble with any facts of any kind, you will want to demonstrate them with actual objects whenever possible. At this stage of the game, we really want you to have your hands on objects. When I was your age, we had a big button box and we would get the buttons out to help me figure out my math equations. So whether it's addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, if you're stuck, get out some kind of objects that you can manipulate. It can be those bead bars that you have made. It could be if you have some beans in your cupboard, or something that, I mean, you know, you could use something like cereal, but that's going to get really messy. I would stick with stuff that's not going to get too messy. One really good thing to do is to go into your game closet and find a game that has a lot of little bits that are all the same, and use those. Those are really the best thing to use.
You could use Legos.
You could use Legos. Legos are great. Yeah. I've even made at home, I took a lunch kit, one of those kind of like what a Lunchable would come in. It's got the little dividers. I took a plastic lunch kit that I had, a Ziploc one, and I filled it with all kinds of different little objects to demonstrate equations with. I should have brought that with me to show you. But anyway, go ahead and do some thinking about what you might like to use. A really good thing to do, and I have done this with some of you in school, is to pick a fact of the day. Choose the fact in the morning. Maybe today we're going to work on 7 plus 9. And then throughout the day, identify places where you're going to repeat that fact. So you might say, every time I go to get a snack, I'm going to have to tell someone what 7 plus 9 is before I can get my snack. You can do it every time you take a drink of water. You can do it every time you tie your shoes. You could do it before you play video games or watch TV. In the classroom, what I usually do is before you can ask me any kind of question, you have to tell me your fact. Some of you have had to do that with me. So that's a good one for some of those facts that are really tricky, that are hard to remember. And then you can also practice repeating your fact of the day in as many voices as possible. Can you shout your fact of the day? Can you whisper it? Can you sing it? Can you say it with 7 plus 9? Can you do a Dracula voice? Can you do your Kermit the Frog voice? Can you sing it up and down the musical scale? How would a fish
Can you
say
do a
6
Mario
plus
voice?
7 is 13? You can do the how many ways game that we just practiced, but have your parents pick a number. And then you can tell them how many ways you can think to make that number using addition. By the way, all of these also work for subtraction, multiplication, division. So when the addition facts start to get easy, just move on and do all the same things with subtraction. A really good thing to do, and this is for those who are really just starting out memorizing their addition facts, is to practice the game of just one more. So I could ask you, what's 1 more than 3? I think I muted you, but hopefully you're saying 4. Okay, good. What's 1 more than 5? When that gets easy, then you can start saying, well, what's 2 more than 3? What's 2 more than 7? You can concentrate on learning the doubles first, because those are fun to learn. 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 4 plus 4. And once you know those, you have some landmarks that can help you think to the other facts. So if you already know that 7 plus 7 is 14, then you just have to think, well, for 7 plus 8, let's see, I know 7 plus 7 is 14.
16.
So 1 more would be 15. 15.
Oh, yeah.
You may already have some board games or card games at home that would help you practice math. I thought of a couple here. Does anybody have Shelby's Snack Shack? Because that looks like a really fun one. You can challenge each other in the family to make up story problems. You don't even have to write them down. You can just talk about them. What is the craziest story you can make about the equation 3 plus 4? Or parents, you can just ask the kids, hey, can you tell me 6 things about the number 6? Let's actually do that together. I'm gonna open you guys back up so I can see you. Raise your hand if you can tell me, we're looking for 6 things about the number 6. Who can tell me 1? 1 thing about the number 6. Raise your hand. Danny. What's 1 thing about the number 6, Danny?
It's an even number.
Yeah, it's an even number. That's 1. Who's got another one? Gavin.
It's like an upside down 9.
Okay. That's 2. Joey. Thanks, Joey. I don't know why it wouldn't work.
By 3 plus 3.
3 plus 3. That's our 3rd fact about 6. Who's got another one? Miles. Oh, sorry, Miles. Go ahead, Miles.
It's 6 units.
Yes, that's a great fact about 6. Okay, I need 2 more. Who's got their hand up? Kaya.
You can get this number 6 can get 3 and 3 together. No other number can get 3.
Okay, and yes, correct. And Krish, were you going to say something?
Yes. The number 6 is 6 1s.
6 1s. Great. Okay, can we think of one more fact about 6? Ava.
It is 6. 6 is greater than 5.
I love it. That is a great fact. And I also have by the way, you read my mind, because I have a greater than, less than lesson coming your way very soon. I filmed it, but I haven't posted it yet. So we thought of 6 and a little bit more things about the number 6. Great. Okay, so do you think you'll be able to play some of these games at home? Keep practicing?
don't have any of these games.
You don't have to because you've learned them from me right now. The board games, you're gonna go look in the closet and see what board games you have that might help you with math. But
I
all the
have a
rest of
cabinet.
this, all the rest of this you can do without any materials. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining me. I'm glad to see you guys, and I will see you again at Read Aloud, okay?
See ya.
Oh, I like your work, Danny. Thanks for showing me your work. Does anybody else have work they want to show off? Quick?
Bye.
No? Okay. Bye, guys. I'll see you at Read Aloud.
Bye.
Enjoy the snow.
Bye.
Ooh, I'm seeing lots of nice work. Thanks, Carissa.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.
We can end it now.
Thanks, Gavin. Looks good.
I'm bleeding on my ankle.
Oh, no. Go get a Band-Aid. Bye, guys.